our entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business. It's about embracing a mindset, one that is filled innovation and a relentless pursuit to turn visions into realities. Throughout history, the entrepreneur spirit has been the driver of societal progression and innovation. From the time I began my journey with Operation Hope, I have been actively aware of my transformative power of entrepreneurship. I've met countless individuals with burning ideas, immense talent, and a great spirit. And yet, many of these brilliant minds face roadblocks, often systematic, sometimes circumstantial, that limit their potential. In the past, for marginalized communities, especially the Black community in America, these barriers have been untouchable, but they don't have to stay that way. From restricted access to capital and biases in lending to a lack of financial education, business mentorship, and resources, Black and brown entrepreneurs often find themselves navigating a maze of challenges. We can bridge this gap by creating accessible funding for budding entrepreneurs, developing mentorship programs to help light the way, and providing training and skill development classes. Funding dreams. In the world of entrepreneurship, funding is the fuel that turns ideas into reality. Without it, even the most brilliant concepts remain just that, concepts. And for far too long, communities of color, particularly the Black community, have been deprived of the vital fuel. Creating accessible funding is more about than just providing capital. It's about trust, belief, and validation. It's about telling every would-be entrepreneur, your ideas matter, your dreams are valid, and we believe in your potential to succeed. Access to capital is more than just about money. It provides individuals the opportunity to dream, to innovate, and to create. But most importantly, it recognizes and validates the entrepreneurial spirit that exists in previously overlooked communities. This absence of access is not just a mere oversight. It's a systematic shortcoming that has stifled dreams and aspirations for generations. So how do we rectify this? Here are some options. Microfinancing. 1. Traditional banking institutions often see small businesses and startups as risky investments, making it difficult for aspiring entrepreneurs to secure loans. Microfinancing can help fill the gap. Origin in Bangladesh with the founding of the German Bank by Nobel Peace Prize winner Muhammad Yunus, microfinance offers small loans to entrepreneurs who would otherwise be deemed uncreditworthy. by traditional banking standards. By offering these small, low interest loans, we can provide a lifeline to those who need it most. Plus, history has shown us that microloan repayment rates are often higher than traditional loans, dispelling the myth of risk associated with lending to low income individuals. So let's talk about targeting investing in minority owned businesses. By investing specifically in minority owned businesses, we can stimulate economic growth in underserved communities. Not only can this create jobs and boost local economics or local economies, but it can also help rectify historical financial inequalities. Let's talk about community-based funding platforms. These platforms function on the principle of community lending or peer-to-peer lending. By setting up local investment pools, we can encourage community members with a bit of extra money to invest in local businesses. This not only provides necessary funds, but keeps the money within the community. Further, local economic development. Think of it as a community piggy bank where individuals can borrow funds to start their businesses. And once they're successful, they replenish the pot, allowing others to do the same. This model makes capital more accessible and instills a sense of shared responsibility and mutual growth within the community, inspiring the next generation. Representation matters because it influences one's perception of what's possible. When young people in communities see successful individuals who look like them in finance and business, it opens their minds to new possibilities. It breaks down the psychological barriers that limit their aspirations. The current lack of minority representation in finance and entrepreneurship isn't just detrimental on an individual level, it's harmful to communities and the broader economy as well. Diversify fuels innovation, and when certain voices are missing from these spaces, we miss out on potential solutions and ideas. But we can change this. Role models can provide guidance, mentorship, and a tangible example of what success looks like. Delivering proof that it's possible to overcome adversity and achieve financial success. And the role models are out there. We just need to be better at highlighting them. The more we share their stories, whether through local media, community events, or school presentations, the more impact they can have. Mentors are a special category of role models who provide direct guidance, wisdom, and support. They help budding entrepreneurs navigate the waters of the business world, sharing their experiences, knowledge, and network. They offer their experiences as learning opportunities, thus enabling mentees to avoid common pitfalls and navigate challenges more effectively. Within marginalized communities, the lack of mentorship often stems from the absence of accessible role models. Many individuals from these communities do not see themselves represented in successful entrepreneurial roles, leading to a wrong belief that those dreams are out of reach. By introducing mentorship programs, we could challenge this narrative and inspire a new generation of entrepreneurs. Mentors in building relationship capital. Role models and mentors can be entrepreneurs who've built successful businesses, financial professionals who've climbed the corporate ladder, or even educators who've devoted their careers to teaching financial literacy. It's important to show that there's no one roadmap for success. To show that once you have the tools to succeed, you can create your own path. Having a mentor can make it all the difference in an entrepreneur's journey, providing them with the knowledge and confidence they need to succeed. They represented a game-changing experience in my life. I don't have inheritance or generational wealth to lean on. I didn't have the benefit of wealthy or well-connected parents or someone in my family who could provide a key internship to me in an office complex in the neighboring city to the poor one where I live. I didn't have a scholarship to prestigious colleges where I would meet, hopefully, lifetime friends and make professional relationships I could call upon. None of these represented resources, assets, or outlets available to the young man with big and bold aspirations. That was me. I knew that there was a business plan for success. I could see the manifestations of it everywhere in the outside world. I just never saw it operationalized with any consistency in my community. And so, I had to go find it myself. The bridge was the people in and around my life in the first instance, in my school, in my neighborhood, and community, and later the people leaders I sought out. I had to leverage the one form of capital I could access, something I now call relationship capital. Growing up, my first mentors were people who were smarter and more connected than I was. I could learn from them and model their behavior, and perhaps I could inspire them to believe in me. This included my father, Johnny Will Smith, who was a small business owner in South Central Los Angeles. And of course, my mother, Miss Juanita Smith, who was a homemaker initially and later on a tradeswoman and part-time small business owner. Early on, my mentors included my elementary school principal and a couple of my teachers who listened to the bold dreams I had for myself, and who occasionally purchased whatever mail order items I was selling in the briefcase I had begun to carry around. My mentors included that white banker who showed up in my fourth grade classroom in Compton, California, and who famously taught me and a room full of 9-year-olds lessons in financial literacy. This lesson then led me to start my first business, the neighborhood candy house. Needless to say, my life, my life has been significantly influenced by mentors, and my interaction with every one of them delivered to me a fundamentally different future asset value in my evolution and learning process as a man. This is because all of them were and vastly different like their own success and evolution, evolution in life. But it was all of interest to me. Remember, my primary education didn't come from a standard learning process. So the world became an open university for me. I saw books of knowledge everywhere, One of my mentors and friends is Quincy Jones, the famed music music producer. Rest in peace. And when I asked him how he got so smart, he quickly responded that he was just nosy as hell. He wanted to know everything about everything. And he told me that this was certainly almost my trait. Also, my trait. It still is to this day. My mentor, Tony Wrestler, taught me that you make money during the day, but you build wealth in your sleep. It compounds when you sleep. The overnight compounding effect for me is all the knowledge capital that I secured from my relationship capital, acquired throughout the entirety of my life. Mentors and role models were everywhere in my life, mostly because I was always actively looking for them everywhere that I was and everywhere that I went. My father was a mentor for hard work. My mother was a mentor for unconditional love. She told me she loved me every day of my life. That alone transformed one and transferred me, gave me the power of self-esteem. There was Dave O'Meara, who owned Malibu Cinema in Malibu, California, and who was an early believer in me. I don't remember where he and I first met, but I was committed to making sure that he would never forget about me, and he never did. I would go to meet him at his cinema after I finished working at the local mini mart evening shift, and we would just talk about life, his and my own. And I would learn everything I could from him about how he ran small businesses. After a while, he started asking me other questions like, what can I do to help you with your dreams? That led to me writing a quick business plan for what would end up being a half dozen mini business ideas I tried. And Dave helped the finance. I even purchased a car from Dave to help me get around and pursue my evolving business ideas. Unfortunately, my many investment ideas that Dave backed didn't work out, but our friendship and his belief in me did. Dave introduced me to my next mentor of sorts, whose name was Stephen Cotter Miller. Dave introduced me to Steve because it was for me to try to pay back some of the money I had borrowed, and Dave believed that I would only be able to do that by having a job. Steve was the chairman of Wade, Cotter and Co., a local investment banking firm. Of course, I knew absolutely nothing about banking, but that didn't stop Dave or Steve, and later me. And this just shows the undeniable power of relationship capital. I knew nothing about high finance or banking or investment. And respectfully, back then I didn't know I had an investment. You can read some of the other earlier books to get the exact story of this period of my life. But the gist is that without these particular events, without the accident of one mentor introduced me to another because I owed the first one money and he wanted to be paid back, I would have likely never founded Operation Hope and engaged in a career rooted in finance and real estate. And there was Dr. Cecil Ship Murray and Bishop Charles E. Blake, two prominent African American men of faith and leaders in the community of South Los Angeles. From them, I learned how to live a life of steady character and how to be what I call today an honest brother, so that the community and those within it trust and believe in you. They taught me that certain things were not just for sale, like my soul, my consciousness, my core values, my belief system, or what I'm for. What I'm for. I learned from men like these two, and they also protected me. They protected me from jealous politicians and anyone that who saw what I was doing and building as a threat to them. Because of men like these, my dreams were given free reign. There was William Hanna, who was in chief executive officer, CEO of Cedars Bank, which was our first banker for Operation Hope. He spent time with me, believed in me, and gave me my first business line of credit, which was $2,500 for the entire organization. The government shut down around the same time, and we were quickly tapped all that original credit line and needed 75K more. I went to William Hanna, not as a banking client, but through a personal relationship capital we had built up together, and it worked. He extended the additional credit we needed, on my word, because the organization balance sheet certainly could not and would not have justified it. By the way, this also shows the power and importance of a small community banks as the largest institutional money center bank, as they are called today, simply could not have made this decision to give me the credit I needed on my word alone. That's some financial education right there. Since then, there have been way too many mentors and role models and influencers in my life to mention them all. But here are a few more standouts. Dr. Dorothy I. Hyde of the National Council of Negro Women, moral and civil rights leaders like Reverend C.T. Vivian, and of course my personal hero, Reverend Andrew Young. Bank CEOs like Bill Rogers and Brian Jordan. High-level executives and professionals like Tim Welsh and Steve Ryan, ESQ. And social entrepreneurs like Harvey Baskin and so many more. This group of and others comprise my Open University and my ride or die positive supporters, backers, and believers. And so one thing is clear, and that is I am me because others believed in me, mentored me, gave me their time and attention. They listened to me. They didn't always agree with me. And sometimes they had to turn me down or turn me away. But the power of listening and being heard is in itself a significant value. Now I try to pay it forward to a new generation of young leaders making it in the world today. That's precisely why, as CEO of Operation Hope and several other growing organizations, I still make time every day to respond to comments on social media, and we publish a hopefully inspiring and educational video just about daily. This method of sharing the message has changed, but the substance, meaning, and reasoning behind those messages remain the same. Lifting people up, just like I was lifted up. The book The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell makes a powerful point about role models, citing a University of Illinois study. It showed that with just 5% positive role models, a community stabilizes. What stuck me there is that it wasn't 70% role models or even 50% cited. It wasn't 40% or even the 20% that followed Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights movement. It was widely been reported that Dr. King only enjoyed 20% of the white or black community's support at the height of his movement work. And yet, it was so transformational and had historical ramifications that we still feel to this day. The magical number here was simply 5%. At 5%, role models This study found every community stabilized. This is mind-blowingly powerful and achievable, even by the most cynical standards. First, we need to ensure that mentors are representatives of the communities they serve, that they have faced similar challenges, have real-life insight into how to navigate them. Second, the program should be designed to foster long-lasting, meaningful connections between mentors and mentees. Quick one-off sessions, while beneficial, cannot provide the depth of knowledge and guidance that ongoing relationships can. Last, mentorship programs should be accessible, whether it's through community centers, online platforms, or local events. These programs should be easy to find and easy to join. Mentorship programs that have the power to transform communities by fostering entrepreneur success. By investing time and resources into these programs, we can ensure a more equitable future where everyone, irrespective of their background, has a chance to succeed. Through these initiatives, we can be entrepreneurs, making it a viable and accessible path to financial independence for all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. So later or tomorrow, I'll be reading chapter 11, Educating Our Workforce, from my favorite book, Financial Literacy for All, Disrupting Struggle, also Advancing Financial Freedom and Building a New American Middle Class by John Hope Bryant. Happy New Year to y'all. Keep thriving. We global. Keep going.